Okay, are we ready once and for all now? Do I hear 2 yeses?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Close enough. I'll count a yep. Hello, Trovians. Zan here. I have 2 guests with me. Carda, say hi.
Hello.
It's Chronostriner Gaming on YouTube, Carda39 on Twitch, and we have Prinny.
Yo.
And we're going to be doing almost sort of like a mini podcast thing, plus a test drive for the new patch. We're going to be talking about it, because there's some very...
I was supposed to go in the other way.
What was that?
That was my... I was trying to drop an action code in front of you.
So yeah, new patch just hit, what was it, like an hour or 2 ago?
Give or take.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
A lot of interesting stuff, some of it a bit more controversial than other bits.
I'm happy.
Yes, we will get to that in a second. So, should I just start reading things off and then you guys want to comment, or does somebody else want to be the official reader of the notes?
I haven't had much practice with my epic voice yet, so you go ahead.
Okay, so first item on the list, it's like the flagship of this update. Players now start with a non-tradable class coin which grants a free class. Carda, would you like to explain how this works?
Hang on, I need to open up the patch notes myself so I can follow along. Oh! I am not prepared!
Oh boy.
Okay. So,
Change to the class system, specifically with purchasing classes. How does that work now?
Well, let me hop on.
Are we dispersing
here.
now? Was that the intro?
I think that was. I thought that was the intro. We're kind of moving on to the
let's
topic
go.
at hand. Okay. So
Yeah, that was the intro.
basically, new accounts now start with a coin that will unlock any class of their choice for free. The trade-off is that Gunslinger is no longer freely available from square one.
I got it up on the screen now so you guys can see it. There's the little class token off to the left. Continue.
And so, Gunslinger now has to be purchased. On the other hand, you can, if you so choose, use your class coin on it. Existing accounts didn't get this, but existing accounts get to keep Gunslinger unlocked. So it's
Everybody
a fair
who had
trade-off.
Gunslinger before still has it. They're not going to take it away. That would have been kind of weird, actually, to think about it.
That would have caused so much rage.
At first, I thought it might have been a cool thing, like for the people who didn't want Gunslinger, and then the ones who did could just buy it back. But then I'm like, wait, they'd have to reset your level.
That would suck.
Yeah.
Hey, the table!
Let's not do that. Hey, we got a table. Oh, is that Neon City? That looks like Neon City.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think there's actually chairs for that as well.
Okay, so
Sweet.
we already went over some of this. By association, Gunslinger class must now be unlocked in the store. Existing accounts still have it. Tradable class coin. Okay, next item. Your name is now colored gold in chat if you are max mastery rank. Has anybody seen that yet?
Nope.
Anybody
I
who
haven't
actually
seen
does
anybody.
global chat?
I don't do global chat, so no. But I mastery rank is what right now? Like max rank goes all the way up to 80.
I think so. Last I checked.
So yeah,
Just
there's
now,
a lot
Are there
to-
no chairs in Trove? Do they have just
Eh,
tables?
They have medieval chairs, which are more like stools.
I'm not even seeing that. Oh wait, there it is. Wooden stool. Okay.
I've made some.
Okay, so flasks are now 750 credits down from 1300. Your credits will be returned to you if you already purchased the flasks. This, I feel like, has a bit more to it than people realize. So if you look at the store, the alternate flasks, they used to be a lot more expensive, almost double the price. But not only did they knock down the price, they actually did something that gaming companies rarely ever do, in that they actually gave refunds of the difference to people who had already purchased them previously.
Good on them.
No,
Yes.
really, like other game companies, they go by the logic, which is right in a sense. You had it before the change, you got to enjoy it then, so you technically got your money's worth. Which I can see the logic behind it, but the fact that they did that, I know is going to make a lot of people happy that they bothered to say, you know what, we don't think this is right, we're going to give you the difference back so you can spend it on something else, like another flask. So, okay,
Well,
so they...
Why is there a chunk out of the table now?
No.
I was kind of wondering that myself.
I see all four.
Wait, is that just a graphics thing? I thought you actually took one away because you were gonna move it.
No.
So yeah, it turns out I'm standing on nothing. Yay, render glitch!
Carda, you're always standing on nothing. You float.
Shush.
Okay. Next item on the list. I don't know, did they add a trade channel or was that always there? There's one thing in the notes that says you can now join the official trade channel by selecting settings, social, join trade chat. Was that?
No, I think people are just using other existing channels for that.
Yeah, there is an official trade chat now. Anyone who's looking to trade some items, you can now do it there instead of having to spam global.
Or go to the subreddit.
Yeah. The player that uses a shadow key to unlock a shadow arena portal now gets a reserve slot in the shadow arena.
Is now the boss. Effectively.
So this one's kind of a weird one to me. Was it actually possible for one person to start up a shadow portal and then, like, people
effectively get
dive bomb
kicked
it?
out? Yeah,
Really?
effectively get kicked out by people jumping in.
Okay, that is definitely a good change. I didn't even know that was possible because we've only done it like once with 5 people. Yeah, that
To
would-
my understanding, people would go to a shadow lair, call out to the world that they found one, drop an origin portal, then open the gate themselves for everyone else there to immediately jump in. Suddenly it's full.
Yeah. That's not good. Glad they changed it. So yeah, there's another arena-related change that sort of ties in with that. The player who unlocked the Shadow Arena portal can now kick other players from the arena with a /kick username command. So essentially you get like mini moderator powers over the arena if you're the one who started it.
Yeah, no more leeching, basically.
I just
You
realized
don't,
you don't actually.
if you don't pull your weight, you can be kicked.
Yes.
Granted, then you have to do it with one less player, but better to be down a man than to have a leech.
Well, I mean, you had people that were basically spawning in to the Shadow Arena and then just running off to a corner and sitting and getting all of the XP and
Spam jump.
yeah.
You actually don't get experience in shadow layers until you beat the big guy.
Really?
Unless the worm splits off into the mini worms, you then get experience from the mini worms. All 3 experience per.
I never knew that. It waits until the end to front load all the EXP?
Well, no, the big guy just gives you a buttload of experience.
So you
Also,
end up
it-
getting a whole dungeon's worth, it's just you don't get it till the end because it's all on the boss.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. I never
I
knew
also
that.
just realized that the stools aren't half blocks, they're full blocks, so I'm standing on top of them.
Oh, that is awkward.
You know what else is awkward? This.
You upgraded your pen block, didn't you?
Yes.
Oh my.
His jaw is unhinged.
Looking a little worse for wear there.
He'll be fine.
Oh,
I say. Sorry.
so one more arena-related change is a real simple one. Shadow dungeons are now more common. Because it was already so hard to find them, right, guys?
How many could
Oh.
we see from that one spot? 3?
U3.
And that was in like a U1? Was it U1 or U2? I think it was U1.
Yes.
I have personally ran across instances of two spawning in almost right next door to each other multiple times. And the fact that I even found a shadow dungeon multiple times speaks to that. So, it's not really something you can complain about. More is better in this case, I guess. But I don't know, it just seems kind of silly. Not bad, just silly.
No, here's the thing about them making them more common. The desire sensor can't hit it as hard.
What do you mean?
You ever realized how when playing a game, when you're trying to find something, you never find it, but when you're not trying to find it, you will? That is the desire sensor in action. You want it, you don't get it.
Okay, fair enough.
Which is how I found Pen Block.
As soon as you stopped wanting it, it dropped?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, now we're starting to get to the controversial stuff. Where was it? Invasions no longer drop prisms.
Yeah.
Who wants to be the first one to comment on this one?
I would be less upset about that if they had replaced it with some way of getting it other than spend a bunch of qubits or credits on the store.
I'll be honest, at first I thought that they could drop from shadow arenas. I don't see why they couldn't. But apparently they don't.
It's the best place for them to drop.
Yeah, that's like the closest
it's
thing
like
to
endgame.
Yeah, that's the closest thing to an endgame that Trove has at the moment. That's your big 8-man raid against the big baddie and his hordes of minions.
You need perfect prisms in order to get the best equipment so that you can clear the endgame dungeons, so that you can farm perfect prisms, which you need to clear the endgame dungeon.
No,
to be fair, we didn't exactly have top-end gear when we did that one the other day.
Yeah, but that was in like U1. Haven't even seen U5.
Wait, no, I thought we did that in Ubers 2.
Maybe it was U2. Because I remember making a Bono joke.
Here's another thing you gotta remember. We did that with a party of 5, 2 that were under-leveled. Like, way under-leveled. Sean was, level 4? Fey Trickster, he didn't even have his ult yet. He unlocked it from beating the boss. And he still died less than some of us.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're not, impossible. They are challenging, which is good. But anyway, back to the main point at hand. I personally can understand the logic of why they made the change, but I do not agree with it in the least. I know there were people farming them, but top of my list of arguments would be, so what? I mean, if it brings people together, you have a bunch of players standing around, chatting and having fun, waiting for the things to drop in, and then you get a spawn of 20 of them all at once, and everybody dogpiles, has a good time killing the things, and gets a really nice reward that everybody wants.
Except in the same argument, there could be one person with a whole bunch of bots sitting next to him.
Well, see, that was gonna be my other point, is that I feel like this change is changing something else in order to fix the main problem and not really hitting the bullseye. The problem wasn't the fact that the Guardians dropped the prisms, it was how people were getting them from the Guardians. I mean, think about it, they serve their purpose. It's they were designed to be this thing to where you have a group of people running around and adventuring. All of a sudden, you hear a weird noise, you look up, there's all these funky portals, they drop down a bunch of these towering behemoths, and everybody bands together to wipe them out. Or you just turn and run, but at that point you're probably an underleveled ninny who doesn't care about drops as much as saving your own skin. But anyway...
You hear thunder, prepare for Titanfall. That's all I can say.
Exactly. And it was cool to get that reward. I mean, they didn't even drop all the time. It was a fairly rare chance that the Guardians even dropped one. I mean, how many times did we have Titanfall happen to us and we only got, 3 or 4 prisms each, in the entire time we've been playing Trove. So,
Which, to be fair, for me isn't that long, but
I think I've probably gotten Susie and I have probably gotten the most out of anyone in the group at around 7 each. But we've been playing a while now, and we've had, God, I don't even know how many Guardian drops on us. It's just.
Speaking of Guardian drops, welcome back, Carda.
I feel they should have done something more like changing the spawn logic on the Guardians to where, like, if a player
not how much time you've waited, but how many mooks you've killed.
Actually, I hadn't even thought of that. Yeah, like every however many mobs you kill, it spawns a Guardian.
I'm not sure how easy that would be to code, but I don't know. Seems to me that it would you would want to make that like a per map thing, because otherwise you could jump into, say, a level 15 could jump into, say, a novice. Once they figured out the logic on it and the timing, it's like, okay, every 50 kills you get a mini boss. All right, I'm going to kill 49 guys in the novice, and then number 50 is going to be in an Uber 5.
Well, then don't make it a flat amount of kills. Make it scale like your daily bar does, to where, the closer they are to your level, the more it fills up the bar. Except the bar would be invisible. It would just be a coding thing.
Or if you do make it numbers-based, make the numbers different between tiers. Like, how many novices do you think are actually going to be able to deal with the invasion? So, just throwing numbers out here, make the number 500 enemies.
Well, and remember, the invasions scale to the level of the map you're in, so the novice Guardian spawns are designed to be killable by novice players.
I guess.
They don't even have to make a change like that. They could keep it as like a random thing to where you don't ever know when a Guardian's gonna drop in on you. Just have a flag to where if a player or a character has not moved a certain number or a certain distance in X amount of time,
or just,
they don't get Guardian spawns on them.
Or basically, if throw in like a passive AFK timer. If you've been,
yeah, that's what I mean, something like that.
If you've been there have been no user inputs whatsoever over the past 5 minutes.
I thought of the user input thing, but then if somebody really was botting or dual boxing or had like a bunch of dummy characters, they could just go around and click W a couple times once every minute or two and be fine. So that wouldn't necessarily work. It would have to be something.
Use the bobbing bird.
It would have to be something like distance based, to truly prevent botting. It would have to be something a bit more complicated, but still, back to the main point, I really feel like they should have done something more like that, rather than just saying, okay, they don't drop them anymore, you buy them from the shop or you don't get them.
My biggest problem with that is the fact that you're talking about something that costs 4,000 qubits.
That's a class right there. Almost.
That's like
basically a class.
That's over a week just to upgrade the rarity on one piece of gear.
One stage.
Because there are no other ways to earn qubits. You do the quests for your bar every day, and that's it. You don't have any other ways of earning qubits. So
what I would have loved to see is if they made it craftable. Just take a buttload of flux. Because that's what you get by disassembling equipment. So it kind of makes sense. Tear down a whole bunch of equipment to make one super stronger.
I'd say Flux and Infinium. Give a little bit of a sink for Infinium.
There's already.
No,
Yeah, I
know,
was gonna
like,
say
I know
between like mounts and if you're us and you want to expand your land mass a bit in the club world, you've got the infinity frames.
what about people who aren't in a club or don't care about clubs?
Fair enough.
For them, it would be a sink. For people who are in clubs, it would be a choice. Do you do club upgrades or that stuff? But it would be counterbalanced by the fact that if you're in a club, you can pool resources.
Actually, if we're going that far, why make it just infinium? Why not
Don't you dare
shapestone?
chase. No, no,
Form
no,
site.
no. We do not need any more sinks for shapestone in this game. No.
Okay, fine then, no shapestone.
Form a site, maybe.
I'm
No
sitting with
shapestone.
over 2,000.
No shapestone.
Hey guys, I gotta go AFK for a minute. Just just carry on.
Oh,
Okay. Okay, fine. No shapestone.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bitch and complain and say they
Diamonds.
need a buff shapestone drop rates or anything like that. Just
Nah.
don't make shapestone any more needed or value. It's valuable enough already.
Yeah.
I'd honestly go so far as to say that shapestone is the most valuable resource in Trove. It's just
Although
the
for
drop,
some reason
the drop rate.
flux is used as money
Really?
between players. Yeah.
I've never messed around with player trading enough to know that.
I just saw in what little bit of the global chat I've seen
I guess
people
it kinda
asking
makes
for stuff, giving up flux in the trade process.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. So anyways, I think we've rambled enough about that one single line of the patch notes.
Yeah. Now for the next part of bitching. Kind of.
Tentacles are now slightly rarer drops. I assume they mean the tentacles of Cube Thulu, the Chaos Forge materials?
Yes.
Yep.
Let me actually check
Welcome
to
back,
see what
Carter.
they're used
Thanks.
for.
So, I haven't really done much Chaos Forge stuff lately. How big of a change is this, really?
In
well,
the
let's
Chaos
see.
Forge, you take 1 tentacle, 10 flux, and you completely randomize the stats of the equipment you throw in.
Oh.
As in
Which-
this, as in which stats you have, as in like replacing, say, stability with movement speed.
But would that... So hang on, does that keep the numbers and just swap out what stat the numbers go
Nope.
to? Or is that like a total randomization?
Total randomization, as if getting a new piece of equipment. You keep
I think
the
it
forge level and
scales-
rarity.
I think it might keep like the scale of the stat, but
I think it keeps the
Like-
stars, yeah.
So it keeps the rarity, it keeps your forge levels, and it keeps your stars. But the numbers and the stats are completely changed in their details.
Wait.
Mhm.
There are some stats that are just set in stone for equipment. Like, I would be surprised to see a sword without physical damage.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe that would be like the one thing that wouldn't change. Like,
Although if they made swords
Damage
that
or
were
weapon.
magic-based, Trove developers, you know what to do.
That reminds me.
That wouldn't really be useful. I don't know. But anyway, back
I've
to
got
the
this
change.
nice. I've got this
So-
nice combat staff here. Let's
what
see
el-
about.
Is that the only thing the tentacles are used for, other than crafting the forge in the first place?
You actually use eyes for crafting it.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, it was like 13 eyes.
13 eyes, 30 infinium, and 100 warp seeds.
Hmm.
That's
So
it.
the tentacles are literally just for the randomizations.
Yes.
So by the sounds of it, that was just a thing to where supply was way higher than the demand, because barely anyone ever randomizes, and the drop rate was just high enough for no one to really like be seeking them out. It's just sort of like you get them when you get them type of thing.
I
Yeah,
think so.
sounds like it.
All right. And I'm sure somebody watching the VOD later on will correct us and be like, "No, no, no, this is horrible," but whatever.
Tentacles are very important. You guys have no idea what you're talking about. Oh my god, noobs.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and buy a Pearl of Wisdom here with my qubits that I have.
Added missing deco to workbench. I'm kind of confused on this one. Were there like parts, like visual bits of the workbench that were missing, or by deco
No,
do they mean things you can craft?
I think what it was is people were getting recipes, but they weren't showing up in the workbench.
Ah, okay. So that's a bug
So
fix.
you
That's good.
you learned the recipe, so you had it. It was attached to the recipe was attached to your character, but you couldn't access it in the workbench.
I see. Okay, so that's just a bug fix. That's good. Oh. Okay, we're starting to get to the class balance stuff. I'm actually going to go in reverse order to this because I want to talk about the first one last, because it's arguably the
Your
easiest
favorite.
one. No, I wouldn't even call this a favorite. Even it pertains to my class, but this is just nuts. So, going in reverse order, Ice Sage's icicles now only explode when they hit the ground instead of exploding when they hit foes and not doing enough AE damage. That just lagged me. What the hell?
That was my example.
Okay, so Carda, since it's your class, would you like to explain this a little bit?
Well, basically, thanks, Prinny.
welcome.
What you had to do up until now was, okay. So, for those not familiar with the Ice Sage, my basic attack is a Frostbolt. It slows down my target, and then my secondary attack is the Icicle Fall, which is supposed to do a good pile of AOE damage. Problem was, it wasn't doing very good AOE damage, and
you had to hit something right on the nose to trigger the AoE.
Yeah, you had to just like drop it on their head. It couldn't explode near them because it would do like piddly worth of damage. Whereas now, I actually did a little bit of testing with this earlier. Now, it actually will do a decent amount of damage if it's not a spot-on hit.
So basically, they kind of switched it around. Instead of getting the most AoE damage when you hit something right on the dot, you get the most spread when it hits the ground and it would normally miss. Whereas if you hit it on the nose, it's more of a focused single target thing. Is that right?
Pretty much.
And how has it been testing so far?
Pretty well. I'm much happier with the ability to miss and still, hit, basically.
The delay does make that a little hard to get used to training your shots, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a pain in the neck, especially when you don't have a perfect feel for how long the movement speed debuff lasts on your auto attack.
Right. Because I know the auto attack makes it easier, but if that wears off at just the wrong time, you'd miss it.
Yeah, and you wouldn't actually nail them. You'd be like just ahead or behind them.
So first change, very good, very good. Next in reverse order, not a class that we play. This would be more of a thing for Sean, but sadly he's not here. Fey Trickster can no longer teleport into spaces too small to fit it. That sounds like it could be.
That sounds more like a bug fix than a class balance issue.
I never noticed Sean like that having that problem before. So like you would teleport into like a one block space accidentally?
I could see how
Possibly.
that could actually be abused.
That would
Oh, hello.
Official announcement. We are also looking at missing mastery. Please do not send any more tells. I love you. Okay. Okay, so anyone who happens to be seeing this, please stop spamming the devs with PMs. They're fixing, I guess, an issue with missing mastery levels. Anyways, so yeah, Fey Trickster's change was more of a bug fix than a balance thing. But
Although I could still see how that could have been abused.
abused
just-
or inconvenient, depending on whether you intended it or not.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're going through a cave system, mining up every single ore you find. You go right up against a wall, make it so that you know where you're going to teleport to, go into that spot, and through the game's own coding, whoop, suddenly you're all the way back up on the surface. Because of how the game corrects you if you're in a spot you can't be.
No, apparently, no, that's not quite the thing. They were saying that there was no spot correction. You would just
Oh.
be able to fit into things like a one block area.
Oh, well, if it's that, then yeah. Why is it class balance and not a bug fix?
It's because I wasn't looking hard enough. It was in with the rest of the class stuff, so I thought it was balance related. Give me a break. Okay.
No, I'm complaining to the people who made this list. That sounds more like a bug fix, if anything.
No,
Well, they
I
didn't
was just
exactly list. They didn't exactly list things under categories. I think it was just okay. We need to tell them this, and just everything class related just kind of got lumped together.
Yeah, that was me calling it a balance thing, not the devs. The
Okay.
devs just put everything in one big list. The next one pertains to your class, Prinny. Candy
Yes.
Barbarian Smash Attack, which I assume is either the jump or the right.
It's this
click.
one.
was
It's the
that?
one.
Okay, so it's the jump attack. Now it does 33% less block damage. You were actually speaking very highly of this before.
Yes, because all too often I would just spam this twice, mine a block by accident.
Please don't
And
do that in
so-
the clubhouse.
Yeah, I'd have to do it one more time, and I'd accidentally break blocks and fall right out of that high area in that dungeon. All because I was fighting on top of some glass.
So a lot of people might think that this is weird because I know a lot of people do like to use skills for mining, certain ones in certain situations. Like especially
Bombs.
the gunner, the fact that you can blast blocks from so far away with a charge shot and stuff
Or
like
the
that.
Dracolite having literal bombs.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Honestly, I think that's actually pretty useful at times.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah,
my
exactly.
M2.
So for people with that mentality, it might seem a little weird because the Barbarian's jump attack has a nice, wide, almost perfectly square AoE that would be really good for mining blocks if that's what you were trying to do. Except imagine you're up in like, I don't know, one of those glass domes in Dragonfire Peaks, and you
Or
have to-
Neon City.
yeah, or Neon City. You have to jump around a lot because you're getting, swarmed, and all of a sudden, crash! You go right through the floor. So this change isn't making it impossible to mine blocks with the Barbarian's Leap. It's just making it to where you have to use it more before that happens.
Yep. And even then, bombs are still better.
Yeah. That's kind of what they're for. Okay.
Just leaves the big one for you.
Neon Ninja. Basic attack now reaches further, and all levels of the shuriken now deal more damage. Why?
So how's that extra power? How's that extra power feeling?
Why did they do this? Okay. Is there any input you guys want to have on this before I go into my big long rant?
Cool down.
What?
I dropped ice cream in your head.
Like,
That's all the input I've got.
as someone who mains Neon Ninja, you'd think that I'd be overjoyed for this because this is a huge buff. I can't exactly say that I have the right to complain about it, but I'll be damned if this isn't completely unnecessary. Like, I don't even know why they did this. Like, okay,
And-
the basic attack, look at this. See the particles on that? The attack range is even farther than like, I could probably demonstrate it on the grass over here. Right about there. Neon Ninja has probably the longest melee attack range I've seen in any other class other than the Barbarian, which is designed to be the big melee AoE chop 'em up guy.
Which is why I dual wield these.
It was actually somewhat difficult for me getting used to the fact that my ninja class had such long reach, because visually it didn't look like I should be able to hit things from that far, so I'd be trying to get up closer to enemies than I had to do the little hit stealth shuriken combo, and I'd be getting my ass kicked because they'd be able to attack me before I started to attack them because I didn't know my range was so long. And now they went and made it longer. I mean, I almost don't even feel like I'm playing a melee class anymore. I feel like I'm playing a pseudo-ranged class now. It's ridiculous. Especially with the gear I'm running, I splashed a little knockback into my build. So the amount of keep away I can play with enemies is absurd. And that on top of the shuriken change, they took the damage of it and cranked it way the hell up. I mean, Ninja already had really, really good spike damage with the shurikens. Their regular auto attack damage was a little bit low because of that, but now like, they didn't even drop the auto attack damage further or anything like that. You know, it wasn't like a rebalance. This was just a straight up buff. And from the little bit of testing I was doing my dailies earlier before we started, I was out in Ubers 2 solo, which I don't usually do, and I was one-shotting things. That's not right.
To the ground!
Like, I would run up, build up my shuriken charges on one enemy, backflip, and shuriken the other one, and the other one would 100 to 0.
Just like that.
In Ubers 2. Which, granted, isn't, like... It's not the most difficult thing, but that's, like, enemies that should be around my level for the gear and character level I have. It just feels like overkill. I mean, yeah, I'm thrilled that now I can probably move up to Ubers 3 soloing, and maybe even Ubers 4 in a party, but...
You're just waiting for that moment where they're like, oh, this is OP. Nerf! To the ground!
And that's why I said, in a game like this, to where there is no PvP to my knowledge, you can't exactly complain that it's OP. I mean, it's all PvE stuff.
Yeah, but at the same time, you do have
excessive.
the whole issue. Well, you have the issue with, oh, well, this makes, high-level content trivially easy, so that means it's overpowered.
Yeah, kind of. It is a bit of a feel thing to where, yes, it's a buff, yes, it's good, yes, I'm stronger, but it feels a little excessive. Like, I didn't feel like I needed the buff. It's not like I ran around saying, oh yeah, I really like being a Neon Ninja in main, and I love this class to death, and I play it even though it's bad, but man is it bad, I wish they would buff it. No! Neon Ninja has been absurd! It is a really strong class, if you know how to use it. So... I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out my ass, and I just don't realize that this was needed because there are people trying to run Ubers 5 and it was too hard for them. But I never had a problem with it. And now I feel overpowered, and I feel bad for playing this class for the first time ever. So yeah, that's my rant over. Anything to add, guys?
Whee!
Thank you, I needed that.
You know what else you need? More ice cream.
Okay, rage bubble's been deflated. Let's move on.
Actually, what I just did goes perfect into the bug fixes that they did.
Give me a second to scroll down here.
Well, actually, it's not the one I was thinking of, but it's related to Mag Riders.
Yes, I believe there are actually a couple of Mag Rider changes.
Just sprinkled all throughout the thing, though.
Yeah.
Fixed a bug where riding a Mag Rider could teleport you outside the bounds of the world. I actually didn't know that was a thing.
Neither did I.
Did that ever happen to you guys? Carda?
I haven't used this thing nearly as much as Prinny's used his, so...
So that
And this is the most I've used it right now.
Yeah, I don't even know how that would have happened.
I didn't even know there were world blah, blah, blah. Let me try that one again. I didn't even know there were world borders.
Maybe
Yeah,
they're
first try.
Probably
maybe they're
falling
talking
through
about
the
like a clubhouse.
or
The
falling
bound
through the
clubhouse end. I don't know. But anyway, good bug fix. Where's the other Mag Rider one?
It's further down, but as long as
It's further down, but I found it. Fixed spinning Mag Riders. Did anybody else notice that bug?
yes,
Yep. I watched it happen to Prinny a couple times. Although the devs have said that it gave them the inspiration to create a teacup ride mag rider,
Oh, that would be fun.
all of my
which
wants.
will probably have intentional spinning.
That would be cool. But I will say it was a little disorientating when, without fail, every time you got on your Mag Rider and went on the rails, you would be spinning and spinning and spinning like a Disney ride. It's like, okay. Physics? Where are you going?
I'm
Go
gonna
home,
go over
physics, you're
here
drunk.
now.
Yeah, it was a little weird. It would be cool if they had something to where you could intentionally do that if you wanted to.
Teacup.
I think
But-
I think that's why they're gonna they're actually going to develop a teacup ride mag rider.
That would be cool.
I just
but
hope
for-
they have the teacup in 3 different colors.
That would also be cool. It was a little disorientating when you hopped on your pimp mobile, went up to the rails, and all of a sudden you'd be spinning and spinning and spinning. So yeah.
Then the cops pull you over because they think you're drunk, but you're actually not.
Actually, I don't think any of us have that skin, do we? I don't think
Is
any
there
of us.
actually a? Oh yeah, there is a
There
police
is
car one in
The fun police mag rider in the
Yeah.
$100 starter pack.
fun police.
Or you can just buy it for 1,625. Give us monies. Credit.
I mean, I can actually. I'm just
Wait, what?
tapping. I'm just tapping DSA over and over again, like I'm drumming my fingers on the keyboard.
Oh my god. Yes. Okay. Cool.
I wonder if it works on rails. Let me try it.
Hold
Is
on.
it? I gotta see this. Oh no, it
No.
doesn't. You can't turn
It
when you're on
locks you.
rails. You can only
Yep.
jump off.
Although
Oh,
if they made rails that let you turn around just spinning, have an on-off thing for that,
oh, that
would
would be cool
also-
too.
that would also be nice.
We need to get that terraformer going so we can have our so we can start building your Candyland roller coaster.
Yes, Frog Gaming Theme Park.
In the Candyland.
So what's next? What's next?
Gonna try and figure out how to make it Sugar Rush.
Oh my god! I just remembered something.
What's that?
This is like, I mean, no joke. This is something from like 20 years ago that I'm remembering. But
There's a board game called Candyland.
no, Prinny, shush.
Okay.
If Sean ever gets a chance to travel to Europe, there is I'm not even joking, there is a frog-themed amusement park in Holland.
Are you serious?
I'm totally serious.
Oh jeez, I'm gonna have to tell him that now.
I went there. I'll have to see if I can remember it, because this was, no joke, this was like 20 years ago. I was there on an exchange trip in high school. Which shows you how old I am. But yeah.
Boy, here we go.
Hey, I need my pills.
Carda
No,
and his war
I'm not
stories again.
I'm not on pills. I hope I am never on pills, because having worked in this field, having worked in the field of giving pills to people, I don't ever want to be that guy on pills. Trust me.
Alright, let's try to clip this along a little bit because we do still have quite a few more patch notes to go. Where was... Okay, yes. Fixed a bug where players with the appear offline options set still appeared as online to friends. Antisocials rejoice.
But why would they have friends if they're antisocial?
Getting suckered into it, I don't know. Friend of a friend that never shuts up, I don't know.
Well, okay, that one kind of makes sense.
Adjusted rendering color curve. Improves some color contrast. I haven't really noticed that one yet. Have you guys?
Nope.
No. Of course, that was probably just something for super high level graphics, which, look nice, but I just don't really pay that much attention to it. It's like, oh, it looks cool. It looks nice. Okay, I'm happy. That's pretty much my extent of it. I am not an FOV slider kind of guy. All respect to Total Biscuit.
Here's one that I know Prinny has already been noticing, and I kind of have as well. Improved performance of object rendering.
30 frames a second!
And improved performance of liquid vertex shader. So I guess...
No idea what that means.
Okay, so basically objects that are rendering into your game for the first time, you don't get that lag spike as badly when things are first loading in on your screen. And additionally, I guess water and other liquids should lag less now. And slightly improved performance of liquid pixel shader.
Which is probably talking about plasma and water and stuff. I mean, those do look nice. I think. I don't know. I'd have to actually look and compare, like, your
Pixel shader, that almost sounds like lighting thing. Maybe there was like issues with reflections off of liquids, like in really bright areas.
I don't know. I'd have to compare. I'd have to compare your VOD of your little lava disaster with how it looks now.
You can actually look through water.
I just did. Too late.
Shut your face. Okay, next.
Hey, it happened to me too. It's just with me, it happened to be plasma instead of lava.
Yeah, plasma can't kill you. Next.
Achievement get died in Club World.
Minor server optimizations and increased server logging. In parentheses, we're tracking down the lag issues, we promise.
Okay.
So, server logging. It basically sounds like another thing to optimize performance, but I'm not quite sure what the details are on this one. Carda, any thoughts? Okay, next. Oh, here's another big one that has a bit of gameplay / balance implication to it. Fixed a bug where dodging while attacking and walking backwards made you dodge forward.
As I am demonstrating now, that has been fixed.
Raise your hands to all the gunners and ninjas in the crowd who were furious with this bug.
Yeah, that was a real pain in the neck, actually.
I was furious about that bug when playing as Candy Barbarian. I died so often because of that.
Yeah, I mean, it affected everyone, but you gotta admit, it was even harsher on the ranged classes and ninja, because positioning is so much more important to them. Like, you'd be trying to kite as a sage or a gunner or something, and all of a sudden, whoa, hello enemies, let me give you a hug.
Yeah, it's like, seriously. It's like, okay, I'm kiting, frostbolt kite, frostbolt kite, frostbolt kite. Holy crap, why am I 10 feet closer?
Exactly. So
whereas now, it actually works properly.
That one's finally fixed.
Ice cream!
Fixed to volume sliders affecting sounds correctly. Music affects all music, including music blocks, and sound effects slider affects all other non-music audio, including UI now. So that's a bit of, I guess that's less of a bug fix and a little more of a reclassification on what the game considers to be music, what it considers to be sound effects. So I guess the sound effects for the UI weren't tied to the sound effects slider, and you couldn't turn them up or down. And likewise, the note blocks for your clubhouse and stuff were tied to the FX slider instead of the music slider.
Hey, Prinny.
Yeah?
You should see if running a Mag Rider rail across these will actually work the way I think it will. No, not the Mag Rider, the rails. If you run it on rails across the top.
It does.
Sweet.
Actually, how
Haven't
Riders.
you seen Tryon's Happy Holidays video?
No.
It starts off with a Trove video of someone on a mag rider running over music blocks that play the tune to Jingle Bell. Or wait, no, not Jingle. Deck the Halls, I think it was.
I don't know.
It was either Jingle Bells or Deck the Halls, one of them.
Some Christmassy song.
I'm sorry, I forget which one. So yeah, that's fixed. Autumn and winter pinatas should now drop updated recipes, so I guess there were some newer crafting recipes that they added to the game that the little gotcha things weren't dropping properly, so that's fixed. We already talked about the Mag Rider stuff. Corrected screen flickering issue when dying. That's another one that I didn't really notice. Did anybody else notice like your screen flickering or cutting out when you died?
Nope.
Sometimes. Not often, though.
So yeah, that's another bug fix. Recipe layers in undead biomes will now generate as often as all other biomes. I actually noticed that anytime we went to the Haunted Forest, there were always way fewer recipe layers and dungeons than in the other biomes.
I think I found one recipe for Shadow, or for the undead area.
Yeah, it was really, really low.
Let me check.
Also, I would say that I think the spawn rate on them in Dragonfire Peaks is actually a little high. 'Cause I've noticed a ton of recipes out in the lava biome, but I don't know, maybe that's just me having good luck.
Yeah, I also still can't even figure out how to get the Sea of Tranquility stuff. I want a sandcastle!
Maybe fishing? When they add it? I don't know.
I don't know.
Let's see here. Players now automatically stop using abilities when switching between adventure and build modes. Prinny and I were
Yes.
actually talking about this a little bit on Skype earlier. Did anybody else have that issue?
I'm not sure. Maybe once or twice.
So often while in caves looking for ores, I would just hold down right click, picking up every single thing I could, but then have to switch back so that I could use the gunner's one skill to get out of the hole, and for whatever reason the game thought, oh, you still have right click held, even though I didn't.
Yeah, it'd still be doing the mining laser thing.
Yep. And it'd take a good, couple of minutes to fix that.
Alternatively, I had noticed before a bug, specifically with my Neon Ninja, to where I would activate my ult, for those of you who might not have seen it before, the little ranged sword wave thing, it's supposed to buff your auto attacks. I would be doing that, kiting and dodging around, I'd accidentally tab into build mode and tab back, but it would never turn off, and then once I had done that, I would be locked into it. Like, I didn't even have to hold down left click, it would just be constantly shooting things. And it would extend beyond the intended duration. So I would essentially become a gunner for however long, until I could turn it off.
Now imagine if you did that glitch while I gave you ice cream.
Yes.
Uber 5, you're gone.
So that's another good bug fix. Stone hearth is no longer craftable. I guess there was some recipe for a decoration you could craft that they took out. I'm not sure what it was or
I didn't
why.
actually look into that one.
Stone hearth? A fireplace of some kind, I guess? Scroll down a little bit here.
Yeah, because there's actually one in particular I think we should go out and try and see for ourselves. I think you know which one I'm talking about.
Which one? What?
Go down the list, you'll know what it is that I'm talking about. The one that we should actually go into the world and find for ourselves, because...
Neon City grass is now craftable in the cube converter.
Not that one, but I actually didn't see that.
That is cool. To where now you can have the ground panels from Neon City in your clubhouse and places, So, sort of like the difference between the primal green blocks and this grass that they have in the clubhouse, to where primal green won't spawn the traditional grass that you can chop down. If you just had like charcoal floor blocks or something in like your handmade Neon City biome, or like if you mined out some of the blocks and replaced them with charcoal, you wouldn't have those little radiation barrels and computer chips and server box things that are out in Neon City.
I don't think those are radiation barrels.
Or whatever they are.
They're electronic components.
Oh yeah, the little... Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like capacitors and resistors and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they aren't radiation. This is.
Whatever. You know what I mean, guys. So yeah, the floor blocks that would spawn those little bits in, you can now craft them. So if you accidentally mine out blocks in your clubhouse's Neon City biome, or if you intentionally mine them out and then change your mind, you can replace them instead of just having the regular old charcoal blocks.
And even better, you don't actually need to find a recipe to do it.
Oh yeah.
It's already accessible in the cube converter. You don't need to find a special recipe.
Snowfest layers have been deactivated. Basically, they're the giant present dungeons that were around for the winter holidays. Those have been removed. The winter event's over.
The winter event was over from the patch before the current one, so it confused me why the dungeons were even still around.
Yeah, that confused me at first too. Maybe they forgot to take them out. I don't know.
Maybe they forgot to flag those as part of that particular event.
Here's another.
Alright.
Here's one that I know you guys were freaking out about before. I don't get the hype over it, but liquid chocolate audio ad.
God. We're still gonna have to go out into the world to hear that, because I still haven't heard it.
So I guess the
We have to find a big candy factory dungeon.
so yeah, the candy biome that the barbarian comes from has that liquid chocolate stuff that slows you down. It never used to have audio before, but now I guess they hooked up the audio, so it actually.
No, we
sounds
need
like
sponges for it.
Get on
that would
that!
be interesting, actually.
I want sponges! I want to
I
cover
would-
my house in chocolate.
I would totally set up a completely separate, like, portal hub just for the chocolate.
Another change that another one of those things to where I never had this happen to me, but I can imagine how much it sucked for people who it did. The volcano dungeon in Dragonfire Peaks should now properly spawn an exit portal.
Actually, no, that happened to us once before. We were going through that giant 3-star dungeon in that was basically a giant volcano. How you had to actually go in from the top, then work your way down.
I don't remember that ever happening. I always managed to find an exit, but apparently...
Thinking about it, I never actually remembered going through a portal for that one.
See, here's the thing. I don't know if they're talking about that one, to where it's the little lava tubes underground, or if it's like the literal volcano, because there's one kind of weird dungeon out in Dragonfire Peaks to where you actually have to drop down through the top. They actually make you swim in lava to find the entrance, drop down, and then out onto a ledge to safety. I've only ever found one once, but I can imagine how much it would suck to not have an exit portal for a dungeon you can only enter by risking your life.
Yeah.
Either way, another good bug fix. The rest of this we can kind of just skim through, not in any way to devalue the importance of it, but just because there's a lot of the same kind of stuff. Basically, a whole ton of new styles were added. New pistols, new faces, new hats and hairstyles, staffs, melee. Basically, everything got new skins. A whole bunch of new styles added to the game. If you guys want to see the full list of names of the contributors, they are in the patch notes. I'm sorry, but there are just way too many for me to list off here on the stream. Yeah.
Now I have
Perspective
to ask. This may be something Theo might know better than you would, but is there a sonic screwdriver staff to go with my fez and bow tie?
Not that I have yet seen, but I really would not be surprised.
I might have to get a voxel editor and get on that then.
You could. They constantly have fan suggestions open.
Well, it's something that I
think
could.
the majority of the
I could
skins
submit
that
I could submit a weapon design myself and get quote unquote paid for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think
in game
the
credits.
The majority of the skins that they add into the game are player made, which is
Yeah.
ingenious if you think about it. That's a lot less workload on the developers if they constantly have people submitting voxel edited stuff. So that's cool.
I mean, they'll even pay you for building dungeons and lairs.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
awesome.
bunch of different things. Like the ones that have like signs outside the door are the ones that are player made.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, they should probably fix some of those signs though. They're kind of dirty.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just gonna say now. if
Title
only
one,
they could-
text one.
Now, if only they could fix the signs to where they actually say who built them.
Title 2, Be Afraid. Of
I
what?
think that just about wraps it up. That's the end of the patch notes.
Now for the most important thing. Find a candy biome and hear that chocolate.
Yes. So thank you to anyone who happened to have tuned in. If you're watching the VOD of this afterwards. Once again, thanks for watching. And we'll see you next patch. For those who are watching this live, keep watching. We're going to be playing for a little bit longer, doing a test drive, actually seeing for ourselves some of the things that we've been talking about. Prinny,
Candy!
Oh, you're out in. Alright, we'll see you next patch, guys.
See ya!